I am continuing in my reading. What I'm doing in this series is to read through the entire standard works of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. This consists of the Bible, the Book of Mormon, the Doctrine and Covenants, and the Pearl of Great Price. I am continuing reading in a chronological order, according to event, not according to publication or volume, so I'm skipping around a bit as I move along. We are now reading the events around the birth of Christ, both in the New Testament and in the Book of Mormon, specifically 3rd Nephi. Right now we're going to be turning back to 3rd Nephi. Now, so far in 3rd Nephi, Nephi was translated, and his son Nephi, his eldest son, is now the high priest and record keeper. The people are starting to say that the time has passed for the prophecy to be fulfilled. And so those who are not faithful are ridiculing and mocking the faithful. And the faithful are still holding out, but they're starting to get a little worried. Now, while all that's going on, John is now born, John the Baptist. Mary is very pregnant now. John was born 6 months before Christ. Mary and Joseph have now left Nazareth to go down to Bethlehem by order of Caesar Augustus for this census and taxing so that he can be registered as a descendant of David. We turn now, again, as I said, 3rd Nephi. We're going to pick it up, chapter 1, starting in verse 9, and we're going to read through verse 22. And I want to mention again, my neighbors are being a little loud, so you may hear that in the background. I do apologize. Now it came to pass that there was a day set apart by the unbelievers, that all those who believed in those traditions should be put to death, except the sign should come to pass, which had been given by Samuel the prophet. Now it came to pass that when Nephi, the son of Nephi, saw this wickedness of his people, his heart was exceedingly sorrowful. And it came to pass that he went out and bowed himself down upon the earth, and cried mightily to his God in behalf of his people, yea, those who were about to be destroyed because of their faith in the tradition of their fathers. And it came to pass that he cried mightily unto the Lord all that day. And behold, the voice of the Lord came unto him, saying, Lift up your head, and be of good cheer, for behold, the time is at hand, and on this night shall the sign be given, and on the morrow come I into the world, to show unto the world that I will fulfill all that which I have caused to be spoken by the mouth of my holy prophets. Behold, I come unto my own, to fulfill all things which I have made known unto the children of men from the foundation of the world, and to do the will both of the Father and of the Son, of the Father because of me, and of the Son because of my flesh. And behold, the time is at hand, and this night shall the sign be given. And it came to pass that the words which came unto Nephi were fulfilled, according as they had been spoken. For behold, at the going down of the sun there was no darkness. And the people began to be astonished, because there was no darkness when the night came. And there were many who had not believed the words of the prophets, who fell to the earth, and became as if they were dead. For they knew that the great plan of destruction which they had laid for those who believed in the words of the prophets had been frustrated. For the sign which had been given was already at hand. And they began to know that the Son of God must shortly appear. Yea, and find all the people upon the face of the whole earth, from the west to the east, both in the land north and in the land south, were so exceedingly astonished that they fell to the earth. For they knew that the prophets had testified of these things for many years, and that the sign which had been given was already at hand. And they began to fear because of their iniquity and their unbelief. And it came to pass that there was no darkness in all that night, but it was as light as though it was midday. And it came to pass that the sun did rise in the morning again, and according to its proper order. And they knew that it was the day that the Lord should be born, because of the sign which had been given. And it had come to pass, yea, all things, every whit, according to the words of the prophets. And it came to pass that a new star did appear according to the word. And it came to pass that from this time forth there began to be lyings sent forth among the people by Satan, to harden their hearts to the intent that they might not believe in those signs and wonders which they had seen. But notwithstanding these lyings and deceivings, the more part of the people did believe, and were converted unto the Lord. So why do I read this before the actual birth of Christ? Well, as you note, the sign is given in the night. There's a day and a night and a day. And remember what Christ said. Tonight the sign will be given, and tomorrow come I into the world. This is a very important detail, because Christ in Bethlehem is born at night. But nighttime in Bethlehem is daytime in America. And so while Joseph and Mary are getting to Bethlehem, while they're spending their first day there, where they're trying to find a place, that's when the sign is shown in America. when Joseph is searching the inns for a place for him and Mary to stay, there's a night as though it were day in America. Very fortuitous that the night before the day that they were going to kill all the faithful is when the sign is given. Now I have to wonder, did God kind of inspire or insinuate to the wicked to put it as that day? Did he influence them in a way that they chose that specific day? Or is it that because they chose that day, God chose to be born at that point to save the faithful in America? But this shows us that the authors of the scriptures understand how things work. They understand the astronomy. They understand how the earth rotates. So that right now, this night without is during the daytime that Joseph and Mary are in Bethlehem. That night, Christ is born, which is the day after the night of daylight in America. Probably making this more confusing than it really is, but I'm going to leave that here, and we will turn back to Luke and read about the actual birth of Christ next. So I will see you there.